One of our best sellers at Amethyst are these modular dining banquettes, and it's called the Augustine Collection. We've been featuring them in our projects for the last few years, and they just came out in some new colors. And I get questions on how to measure for this at least once a week. And so I thought, let's go through how to measure for a dining banquette and how to know if it makes sense in your space. And then we'll talk through my favorite colors and configurations. So this is the Augustine Banquette. This is the OG color. It's still one of my favorite colors. It is a performance fabric, and so a lot of people get spooked about the ivory, but we've had really great success with it. I'm actually sitting on one right now. The only thing I will say about this color is that, like any piece of furniture, it's not unique to this bench. Any piece of furniture, your blue jeans could rub off a little bit. And so just know that. But everyone is always so shocked how comfortable they are. They are plush and they're solid. And they actually have alligator clips underneath, so you can clip them together so they stay in one place. And it's kind of like this booth concept, right? Like when you go to a restaurant and you're like, is there a booth available? It feels really intimate. It feels really cozy. And it just makes dining at home feel really, really special. And so that's why I'm a huge fan of these. I also think these are really, really great. If you have an open concept floor plan and maybe your dining area is like not as wide as it is long, if that makes sense, adding a dining bench can get your table a little bit more centered and give you a bigger walkway between like your island and your dining area. So I love to use it in those situations. We actually have clients now also building homes with a banquette in mind. And so those spaces can feel a little more square. And then they're also kind of planning for that, like with the window design, and maybe the windows don't go all the way down to the floor, and maybe they start above a banquette height. So we can talk through the different sizes. But in this picture I have shown first, it's more of like a sofa style banquette. And so we put the corner piece on the end to create that arm effect. And then you would just slip in over the arm and then you would sit down. So that's kind of one option. Like I said, if you've got kind of a more narrow dining area and you're trying to fit a lot of people, a long seamless bench in the back can be really, really effective. So I like that look, but let's talk through some other configurations. So another great configuration is an L shape. You could do a U shape. We talked about, just doing the one across the back. I typically never put it on this side. I always think the bench needs to go in the back. And then like say you do an L shape, these actually work for like any table shape. You just have to kind of like think through it. So the easiest way to measure, and how you'll see this pictured on our site, is typically you're going to see it pictured like this. So if you look at a lifestyle photo, you'll see that the edge of the table is lined up with the edge of the banquette. That's not how I typically sit at them, but I think that this is the easiest way to measure for them. So I would measure the interior section right here and the interior section right here. And that's going to be really easy to do because this corner piece is always going to be square. And the corner is 28 inches by 28 inches. So if you're trying to figure out what rectangular table you need, you're going to measure the width of this piece and you're going to measure the width of this piece. We have it two ways on our site. So we have it like build your own modular, where you're going to pick from all of these pieces and kind of build your own configuration to your space. But we also do sell them as like pre-configured sets, and it'll tell you the overall length. Let me drop this in here real quick. Okay, so we also have a ton of different configurations on our site like this, where it'll show you the picture and it'll tell you the overall length. And then I personally went through, because I think this can be kind of confusing. So I personally went through and I added like all the nitty gritty details to these. And I even recommended what table size would correspond with these on our site. So we kind of added some product description to this from the manufacturer, beyond what the manufacturer provided, because we want it to be really easy. And then we also like kind of told you like the dining table in that picture, what size that is. So then in case you want to mix and match. So you can order it either way. Right now, I'm just going to talk through the build your own scenario because it's the most fluid. It is honestly the same price either way. So you're not really like saving any money by getting the set. But we typically will have like discount codes and things throughout the year. And if you want to know what our current discount is, you can always message me on the live chat and I'll give you something. So this is like measuring for a rectangular scenario. I also, and like here, if you did chairs, you do like one here, and then, you know, maybe do one here. Maybe there's a patio door here, or, you know, you could do one on the end, depending on how you're measuring for this. Here's the deal. If I've got a patio door right here, I'm not going to put anything here. I'm going to take the bench as far as I can take it. I'm going to take the table as far as I can take it. If I've got a patio door right here, depending on, like, how do I want to show that to you guys? One sec. Okay, so if I've got like a sliding glass door, I got a patio door. This is like an open concept floor plan. If I've got a patio door right here, this is, okay, it really depends on the situation. Okay, if it slides like this, I'm taking this all the way here. I will. I think it feels grand because typically you have some kind of a light fixture centered. And so you've got to figure that out too, is like, is my banquette centered on the light fixture? So if this is happening and say the door only goes to here, I'm taking this all the way here. Say the door, I don't even know. Say the door is, you know, you need more room. I'm probably taking it to here and I'm still going to kind of leave this as centered as I can. So maybe I just mimic the width of this to leave the gap. So that's a situation. If you're in like a formal dining room, obviously this isn't going to apply to you, but say you're in a formal dining room, you could do this, you could do a chair at the end. But I feel like the banquette is the star of the show. And so if I can go a little more grand there, I like to. And then, so that's kind of one configuration if you're doing a rectangular table. Okay, so say we're just gonna start with an L shape. Say I like oval, and I love oval tables with a banquette because you take something really, really straight and you soften it with a curve. If I'm measuring for this, we're not gonna want it like this because nobody is gonna even reach their food. So we're going to want to tuck it, but we're also not going to want to go like this, right? Because then whoever's sitting here is very uncomfortable. So I would measure for maybe, I'd say like 4 to 6 inches, kind of overlapping. So you're going to measure this, and then you're going to add 4 to 6 inches. Okay. And that's kind of how I would get like an oval shape. I do really like it. I mean, realistically, no one's going to be sitting here. I don't think this is like the most perfect dining room oval shape. I think dining room table manufacturer is a little smarter than that. So it's going to be a little more proportional over life. But, you know, you kind of want something like that, I would say. I feel like my oval is not really doing it. There we go. That's going to be a really comfortable oval dining table size. The other thing you want to think about is you really want something with a pedestal base. You really do not want legs on your dining table because you won't be able to get in. Okay, so I'm going to show you this. Okay, this would be an appropriate dining table because the pedestal is kind of centered in the middle of the table, and then you're going to be able to scoot around it. So I like that one. That one's by Varellin. I'm like, Okay, I'm just going to screenshot a few of these real quick. I can drop them in. Okay. Lucy is a no-brainer. That's perfect for a banquette, and you would like do something more square. And then, can I get this back to a circle? Yeah. Okay, so here's like a Lucy situation. Again, probably 4 to 6 inches of overlap. You could measure it here, and then you kind of tuck it like this. You maybe put a chair there. This is not proportional. This is just, for example. You could do something round, so like that table would work really well. I'm going to show you the table I would not put with this. I mean, and maybe this is controversial because I'm sure people have done it, and so it's like, you know, take my opinion with a grain of salt, but I don't think this is the most ideal table, I will say. Something like this, while I love it and we recommend it for a lot of our projects, it's not going to be as comfortable because think about it. Your legs right here, your legs right here. It's just going to be harder to navigate. So we do have rectangular tables with a pedestal base. And I'm going to see how smart my store search is. Okay, yeah. We got some. If you type in dining table pedestal on our site, it's going to pull you up with some options that have that base. Like this one is perfect. Okay, so you just want to be thoughtful about that. So there are some different sizes. Drag them into view. So here's kind of the different sizes. And then I didn't get this in the screenshot. So this one kind of goes right here. So you have a chair. You have a chair and a half. You have a 49-inch bench. You've got a corner, which is always the same size. You've got a 72-inch bench and an 82-inch bench. And then together you kind of form your situation. So usually I like to do as few of pieces as possible because there's less seams. But what's so great about this is that because of that channel design, the seams are very, very subtle. And then I have to just cover it with a pillow. So there's like a seam right there. You can just put a little pillow there, or you can put a little throw if that bugs you. I'm like really weird about lines and cushions. I don't know. I don't like seeing. I like modular furniture because it's very convenient, but I don't like seeing the seams. So I'm always like hiding that. So you can do that. So different pieces. And then if you ever look at like the pre-built sets and you are wondering like what pieces it comes with, just message me. I may not have gotten to that yet on the descriptions, but I can help talk you through that. So we've talked a lot about the ivory, which is a little misleading. It's called Capri Oatmeal, which you're like, it's not oatmeal. It's ivory. It's an ivory. It's not a bright white. It is like a soft, natural white. Like imagine like a sheepskin color. So it's not yellow, but it's it's a natural white. The other one I like is this one. And what's this one called? Orly Natural. And then you're going to think that's gray. It is. It's gray. It is not an oatmeal. So not an oatmeal color, not an oatmeal color. I could rename these fabrics, but that could be a little confusing for our design projects. So I'm going to leave them their names, but Capri Oatmeal is ivory and Orly Natural is gray. And zoomed in on this one, it does have like kind of a heathered effect. So you can order these, you can order the fabric samples of all of these. And most of my clients order this just so you can see it. And those will arrive. You can order them on our site. They're $10 each, and they arrive in 5 to 7 days. And then you can kind of order with more confidence. So these two colors I like. These are the OG colors. It just came out in leather, which is a freaking vibe. It's fun. Like, can you imagine that with black? A black dining table and like a killer light fixture. I think this is sick. So it just came out in the leather. And then this one I'm also really, really liking. This is a new color. This is a Krypton fabric. So like these are performance fabrics. You're going to have a great experience. You can play it with soap and water. Krypton is like known for like pouring the red wine. It beads on the surface. You blot it off. Like this is not really going to like penetrate, if that makes sense. And it's a really, really pretty taupish color. But again, order a fabric sample. I think color is subjective, so I don't want to lead you astray. But, you know, that's a really, really pretty color. And I like all of these that they are soft. They are soft to the touch. Again, really, really comfortable to sit in. There's one color that I do not like it. I would not order this unless it's like a color thing and you're trying to do like tone on tone, or if you're doing a really moody moment, I would say consider it. But I'm going to be honest with you, I do not like this color. And the reason I don't like it is rough. It is like it's like a sustainable boucle. So it's like it's rough to me. And I don't know. I really don't think I've sold many of them. If you bought this, I'm sure you made it work. I'm sure you love it. And I mean, like I said, I think it'd be really cool on like dark walls, like a tonal effect. But I probably would steer you, if you're working with me, I probably am going to steer you towards one of these first. Just because I think they're soft. I think they probably go a little bit more with my shop aesthetic. So that's my style. Okay. We'll put these here. Okay. So hard being a designer, and like you have opinions, but like I never want to hurt anyone's feelings, because again, what do I know? It's just like design is like so personal and so subjective, and I think there are no wrong answers in design. There's just like better choices maybe. So anyways, I'll tell you how I feel, but you know, take it with a grain of salt. Okay. So these are all the measurements. We've got it broken down for you on all the products. And if you need help measuring, I love to do it. We're happy to help you. Or even like, we have a lot of clients just like ask us to double check their measurements. And I think that that's really, really smart to ask a friend. So the chair is 25 wide, and then they're all 28. Think about this. They're all 28 deep. Okay. So chair is 25, corner chair is 28. Chair and a half is 38 and a half. You know, this is pretty self-explanatory. But we have that broken down for you. And then the other thing I was going to say that is kind of fun is, like I said, I'm actually sitting in this chair right now because I find it so freaking comfortable. So this is like my desk chair. And the other kind of cool idea, like if you have a large dining room and you have like a pretty deep dining table, is how magical. I think it'd be very fun to do these chair and a halves on the end is like a wider, more grand seat, or you could even do like a 49-inch bench depending on your dining table. I think that'd be really fun. I think they make sense like individually as well instead of just a banquette. And then yeah, I was gonna show you this. So this is like what I'm saying. Like typically you're gonna see them measured, or you're gonna see them like in a lifestyle or in a showroom with the dining table like at the very edge. But I think more practically speaking, that's the perfect way to measure for it, but you're actually going to like tuck it in a little bit more. So that's all about our Augustine dining bench collections. They do ship at different times. Like you'll notice that they're so popular. They're rarely all in stock in the same size at once. And so some will be ready to ship, some ship different times. My team knows that if you order a banquette, that we're just going to like ship you these pieces as they become available. That way you can start building it and start enjoying it. But if you have any special shipping requests, you can always reach out to us and say, hey, can you ship these all together? Or we're doing a remodel. Can you wait to ship until after October 1st? Or we're really excited. Can you ship what's available? And then we'll, get the rest later. And so we are happy to accommodate that. We appreciate you guys working with us. So that's kind of what it looks like. Like I said, you can order fabric samples. You can ask us for help on live chat or email. And yeah, happy banquette designing. It's very fun.